Quality products. How do you know you're buying a quality product? How do you know? Like what due diligence do you do on the manufacturers? What feedback do you get from the manufacturers? Go shop the competition of whatever you're looking at getting into, a tent rental business, a party rental business, a general rental business. Shop the competition, read, check the Better Business Bureau, read the feedback of customers. You know, a national brand versus a generic brand. All the time we were looking at this as we built our company, and we couldn't always buy the national brand. So we would really look at something and try to get as many references as we could, and, you know, tell me who your customers are. We would literally call those people. If they were within a couple 100 miles, Mark or I might ask, hey, can we come over and look at that? Because it was a big investment to us at the time, and we didn't know. So what's next on that, Kim? What will the repair and maintenance cost? Yeah, if you're looking at, and we'll get into this in a couple other slides, if you're talking about big equipment, it can be serious money. So that's a big thing. And do you have the skills to repair and maintain it? If not, you know, what's it going to cost you? By today's standards, a mechanic might cost you $50 an hour. That's someone that's working for you with a loaded wage. Again, that depends. I know our labor rate might be higher here in New York than it is in, let's say, Mississippi, but you get the point.
Brett, well, we're on this slide. We have a question on Facebook on, you know, what products should they start with? And we get that question a lot. So this is a good time to share your input on that.
It's a great question, but please, as we move on, have them tell us what is their vision. Are we talking about somebody that wants to be a general rental store? Are we talking about somebody that wants to be a party rental business, a tent company, an inflatable business? I mean, and then we could drill down and tell you what the core items are. I'll give you an example. If you were going to just be an inflatable rental company in that trailer that Mark's talking about, and Mark, you can fill in, but we would typically tell you to start off, what's your budget, $10,000? We're going to recommend you get a couple bounce houses, one pink for the girls, and one gender neutral for the boys and for everyone else. We're going to recommend a couple combos the same way, wet dry combos, one more for the girls, a pinkish look, and one for the boys. And then we're going to recommend a couple slides. And then I think we're going to be out of money at today's prices, unfortunately, because you know, we've just had such a change in the marketplace, and cost of gas and oil and raw materials and shipping. It's just out of sight. So am I hitting the check?
Yeah, it's a small party business. The question came from somebody who wants to grow a small party business. And then an add-on to that, you know, if you have a small budget, like how would you rank that? You know, where would you start?
Do they want to do tents and inflatables, or do they just want to do tents? Because, you know, tents, you get into tables and chairs.
Right.
By today's standards, I think, I mean, you can start off at any price, right? But if you $10,000 number, if you want to do both tents and inflatables, it's gonna get swallowed up pretty quickly.
And I think you got to remember, though, that I mean, I'm always somebody that's going to say do tents and inflatables, okay? Because bottom line is, you know, you're in business to get your best ROI, maximize your labor, okay? And if I can go out to a job site and I can double that average ticket, okay, by putting up the tent, tables, chairs, as well as the inflatable, I've captured that customer, number one, for more than one event that they may have, okay? They're going to rely on me for the cocktail party or, you know, event that might be a tent, table, and chair event where an inflatable's not there, and it's going to get me the inflatable and the tent. I know in our business growth, we started with tents, okay? But, you know, we'd go out, we'd set up a job, we'd see other entertainment venues there. And so we naturally moved right into that. But it's all about your average ticket. And if your tents, tables, chairs, and inflatable, a couple fun food machines, and you can fit that into your budget, the difference is going to be $600 ticket to $1,200 ticket. It will be double almost consistently if you can capture the entire rental event for that customer.
On some of the free tools I'm going to share where you look at your strategic plan, you know, there's so much value in niche marketing. So I think that's kind of what you were saying. Like, what kind of business, what's your niche going to be? Are you going to be like the, you know, company that really caters to the school parties or the backyard parties? And once you define, if you're starting small, define your niche and just be the best at it, that helps a lot. And then circle back to us, because then we can share our experience in that niche. Like, what niche are you carving out, you know, in your community? So that's a really good strategy for starting out.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Budget, I think we talked about a little bit.
Yeah, what is your budget? You got to figure that out, right?
Yeah. And then let me flip to this.
Yeah, return on investment. This is really interesting. We've done this for years for the trade shows because we get the rental equipment guys that would come in to the trade show and they would say, I don't want, you know, I'm talking about buying an inflatable. And then we're talking about return on investment, and they start getting interested. They were actually coming in the booth. I'm big equipment people, like owning millions of dollars worth of equipment. They had no interest in being in the party rental business. They were talking to me about buying a wet dry combo for their kids, right? And so we had a discussion, and it was like, okay, let's look at the return on investment. You're buying the and these are current numbers, I'm pretty sure, for the wet dry combo here. So we'll just keep the numbers simple. We'll say you're spending a couple $1,000 on an inflatable that you rent 10 times and it's paid for. That's typically the rule of thumb. 10 rentals is paid for. What do you think is going to happen on this machine on the other side? And before you click that, Kim, you can run this party rental business, as Mark was saying, out of we have customers that have minivans and they have a trailer hitch on the minivan, and behind the minivan they load up their $500, which is probably $750 now, Tractor Supply trailer, right? Not an enclosed trailer, just a small Tractor Supply 5x8 trailer. They stick their inflatables on there. It's low to the ground. They have a $100 dolly and they throw their stuff on and off they go, right? 10 times renting it, it's paid for. Yes, they've got insurance, and yes, they've got probably the LLC and small stuff. You know, there are people that operate without insurance. I don't care how good your contract is. I tell everybody, listen, you're one lawsuit away from being out of business. Don't run a party rental business, or really any business, without insurance. That's a big mistake. So let's go over to the equipment guy now. So I'm talking to the equipment guy, and he's like all pushy with me. And I'm like, look, you got your $50,000 Bobcat, okay? How many rentals is it going to take you to pay that thing off, right? So what are you renting it for? At that time, believe it or not, this is just a few years back. I don't know if our numbers are really solid here on what the cost is now of that Bobcat, but let's say it's $45,000.
It is. I pulled that out. I pulled that number today, and that's what both of these rental rates are, what we charge in our business.
Okay. So you guys see the numbers, and how long is it going to take to pay that thing off? Forget interest, by the way. Unless you guys are writing a check for 45 grand, you're paying Bobcat or some bank a monthly payment. It's not going to be cheap. But if we take all of that out, we just say simple chunk down math. 146 times I'm going to have to rent that thing before I can even break even, right? Now you've got the asset afterwards, you've got it paid off and you can sell it used and it'll retain value better than the inflatable will, right? The shelf life, I mean, we have Bobcats in our company that I won't let go of because they've got the original diesel engines in them, and the new stuff, these tier 4 diesel engines, they're a pain in the neck to work on. They're very expensive, parts are a problem, whole bunch of issues with that. But back over to the bounce house, it's not going to pretty much last 10 years. You know, it's going to wear out. It's going to look ugly. It's going to need to be replaced. But who cares? I paid less than $3,000 for it. I've rented it out. I've made $50,000 off of it. So what's the problem with the Bobcat? Well, there's no problem, but you got to remember, you've got to fuel it. You've got to oil it. You've got to grease it. This is every single rental. So every time that machine comes back, you've got to be, well, you're charging the customer for the fuel, but you've got to grease the machine. You've got to make sure the oil's good in the machine. You have to do all the regular maintenance on that machine. On top of that, we forgot to talk about, and the rental operator's like, well, yeah, I didn't think about that. Well, how much is the truck that you have? Because I can use my minivan or my SUV to pull my trailer to take care of these inflatables and these tents. How much is that truck that you purchased? Oh, it's just a 1-ton Ford pickup. Okay, so it's 50 grand for the truck. Now what do we got? You got to have somebody that you trust to drive it. And oh, you need a trailer to put that Bobcat on. So how much is that 10,000 pound trailer? Well, now it's about $10,000. So I got a $50,000 truck, a $10,000 trailer, and I've got to maintain that truck, fuel that truck, and maintain that trailer and make sure it's up to speed, right? Uh-oh, what did I forget? Oh, I got to pay that driver, right? Because I'm not putting some 18-year-old kid in that truck pulling a 10,000 pound piece of equipment on a trailer plus a truck. They're running around with probably 20,000 plus pounds. I can't risk them killing somebody because what did I say? You're one lawsuit away from being out of business. But what else do I have to do? I got to pay a mechanic, a skilled mechanic. What did I say? A skilled mechanic with loaded wages here in New York with all the benefits, you're probably at $50 an hour. That's what it is. A cheap mechanic by today's standards is $20 an hour, and they don't know much of anything. So just think about that when you're looking at that. So there's a big argument, and a lot of the operators that we've talked to over the years through the shows have actually added a party rental division. Many of them buy these units, and they'll buy some bounce houses, some combos, and they will use those as promotions for their best customers. So they'll literally say, hey, if you spend $3,000 a month with me renting my equipment, you get a free bounce house rental, once a year or twice a year, bring it home for a graduation party, a family reunion. Now that renter from Anytown, USA that works for a company, they're getting the benefit because they're not telling their boss that, hey, I rent all my stuff from ABC Rental because they take my monthly purchases and they put that towards some reward points that I get a free inflatable for my kids. And I can say I got that because I'm a great dad or I'm a great mom and I, have a great vendor and a great company I work for. But we just wanted to make the comparison. If you're starting out, that home-based business, if that's where you're at, it's very viable. Just make sure you get insurance. Do you have anything to add to that, Mark or Kim?
I don't really. I mean, I know, at least I know on a bounce house combo or a water slide, I don't have to worry about it getting stuck 6 foot in the mud at a 45-degree angle. So the engine fills with water and my $45,000 Bobcat now needs $30,000 worth of work and needs to be pulled out of a backyard with a crane. But,
that happened to us, believe it or not, guys. We've had people rent equipment from us and they've put our Bobcat in their swimming pool and it's gotten stuck. And we've had to go recover it. A couple times this has happened to us, just unbelievable. I want to apologize that we're dragging on, and I hope everybody's getting some value and interest out of this. I know we're supposed to end in 10 minutes, but that's just not going to be possible. So we're going to probably extend this till 3:30. So who are your suppliers, right? You need reliable suppliers to take care of you and make sure that you have the parts you need, the information you need to be successful in running your business. Tent and Table, great supplier, right? Great instructions, great feedback, lots of experience in our company. We're not one of those companies that you call and no one has experience to help you. We consider our staff consultants. They're not, salespeople trying to sell you $100 or $500 worth of stuff. What are other options for product training? You can hire a trainer. Maybe you're already trained. Maybe you worked for a tent company or an inflatable company or rental store, or you're a mechanic. You probably have all the training. You can hire safety training. You can get online safety training. One of our friends, Lance Miller, has a great online program for safety training if anybody's interested in that. You can attend trade shows. There's the ARA trade show. There's the IAPA trade show, Matra trade show. All of these different organizations, most of them aren't free, but they're a low cost to join. And boy, you're going to get a lot of wisdom, a lot of information. ARA has industry certification. If you want to become a certified event planner and you want some fancy letters after your name, there's always that option also. Do you have anything to add, Mark or Kim?
The other thing it's not mentioned on there is SIOTO, okay, which is specifically designed for inflatable training. Some of these organizations, by joining them and getting certified, will actually help out with your insurance rates. And as I was saying, before, when you're talking about reliable suppliers for your products, do your due diligence, check out different people, and, buy wisely, especially in the inflatable areas now. You'll see a lot of emphasis on ASTM, which has various safety rules. Try to buy your products from a supplier that has a USA domestic presence. I know there's a lot of people that will look at the glam of buying something directly on Alibaba or from China. And me, who's now, I've been to China almost 50 times. I've spent a quarter of my life there over the past 10 years. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors, okay? Don't assume that you're getting vinyl that is chemical or lead free. Don't assume, unless you can look at a unit or a game or something that you're buying, that they're going to be following safety practices. Is this a game that you feel confident that you would want to have your child go down, without looking at it and inspecting it? There's a cost to everything, and you don't want that cost to be a non-insurable product. Spend a little bit more money with a known supplier that has a good reputation, that's going to be there for support when you need it, whether it's from, the liability end on manufacturer's liability insurance, the support of people that you can call and ask questions about, and the resources that a USA seller will have in being on the same time zone and being able to answer the questions and tell you more about their products because they use them on a daily basis.
Mark, that's such a great point. I'm not trying to bash any type of manufacturer, but let the buyer beware, because Many times, I'm talking pennies it costs to change material, pennies. And literally, these different companies overseas will take critical items out of the material to save pennies. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true, right? Where it's not the fabric's not mildew resistant. The fabric has lead in it. The fabric doesn't have any UV protection. It's the craziest thing. You wouldn't believe it. So it's a couple pennies here, a couple pennies here, a couple pennies here. It turns into, let's say, a quarter. Okay, they're saving a quarter a yard. Guess what? You're getting the fabric that's going to have mildew. It's not going to be easy to clean. It's going to have lead in it. It might also have, what else, Mark? Arsenic and something else. I can't remember. And no UV protection. So it's going to fade. It's just the craziest thing. So as Mark said, buy from a reputable US manufacturer that will stand behind the product and take care of you.
I have a tip on product training. One thing that's helped us is, you can set up for free a private YouTube channel for your company so customers aren't seeing it, just your employees, or just use Zoom. Use your cell phone, use Zoom, and record everything. So every time you're walking an employee around a piece of equipment or you're doing a training, record them and save them and start your own little training library so you don't have to keep doing that over and over again. And that really will help you a lot with your new hires. So we utilize both of those tools.
Thank you. Price, we talked about this the other day. How do you price your product? What's the best way? Shop your competition. And when we say shop your competition, we're not talking about just going online, right? And we'll use the example of, this home-based party rental company. You need to talk to your family about this, your friends, your neighbors, and pay attention. What are they getting for their graduation parties, their birthday parties, their engagement parties? What does that tent look like? Or what does that inflatable look like? Did it smell? Was it clean? Was it attractive? Did it present itself right? That's like the physical side of it, right? You're not going to get that by going online or calling somebody. What you're going to get by going online is price, yes. You might get some images, yes. When you call them, what are you going to get? Do you get someone answering the phone that just wants to rush you off the phone, that has an attitude? Or do you get somebody that is going to be a real competitor? Because if it's you answering the phone and you talking to the customer, or your spouse answering the phone, or your partner answering the phone, they are completely invested in that phone call, and they want to make sure that phone call leads to a deposit. So when you're shopping your competition, you're taking some notes. I would recommend a recording device so you can record the phone call and share that with your partner or your spouse, or re-listen to it and use that as a training for yourself, how you would treat your customers when they call. But you do want to know the price, right? Because I'll give you the chair story, right? And again, I apologize that we're so detailed, but we want to give back as much as we can and give you guys the recipe to be successful. So the chairs, the customer wants some white chairs, right? And they're having a wedding, and it's just a small wedding in a backyard, 50 people. They're going to get a 20 by 40 tent. And I guess a neighbor or someone from a church is like bringing the tent and donating the tent, but they're really stuck on getting these 50 white chairs, right? And now keep in mind, this is a wedding. People are going to likely be dressed up, and, so what type of chairs do they want? Well, money's tight. They have a limited budget, and they want to get these 50 chairs. So they call this company, and the company tells them, oh, they got these white chairs, are $1 a piece. They call another company, they get white chairs, and they're $2 a piece. They call another company, they their white chairs are $4. And then this last company, their white chairs are $7.50. So at some point they're curious, they're looking at pictures, trying to figure out what chair they want, why is one more comfortable than the other. And they just say, you know what, all white chairs are the same. This company seems pretty decent. And the white chairs come and they get these dirty, filthy, they're almost like an off-white because they're so stained with like yellow marks and brown marks. And this is at their wedding and they're hysterical. What do? Right? They paid $1 a chair, but they didn't check the competition. They didn't actually physically go in and see, and it's being delivered the day of the wedding. So it's not like, what are they going to do? They've got guests showing up in like an hour. How are they going to get 50 wedding white chairs from someone else? By the way, I seriously dislike white chairs. Why? Because I've cleaned tens of thousands of white chairs personally in my career. And I will always advise the rental customer to buy brown chairs or black chairs unless you're going into the wedding business. And when you do that, make sure you charge enough so when you're sitting there in your backyard with your scrub brush and your Dawn soap and your pressure washer or your garden hose and you're cleaning those white chairs, you'll feel the same way I do after you clean a couple hundred. So shop the competition means if they've got a store or they've got any type of warehouse that you can go see their white chairs or go see their tent or their tables and things of that nature. Okay, three-legged table. What is a three-legged table? Well, you've got to consider profitability, right? So that three-legged table is, I'm starting my business. I want the absolute best quality products. Okay, good. And I want to offer the best quality customer service. Okay, good. And I'm going to offer the best price. It's impossible. Something's gonna break. You can't be the best price, the best quality, and the best customer service and stay in business unless you have no competition. If you have no competition, that's possible. But once you do your due diligence, you'll know that. Chances are you can get 2 of the 3. You probably can't get it all 3. When you're starting your business, it's a great point. Buying new versus used. What happens to your rental product after its first rental? It's used. So if you can save a ton of money going out, looking on Craigslist, looking on Facebook Marketplace, looking on eBay, I encourage you to do that. You're investing your life into this business, right? Your time and your energy. We said at the start of this, why are you doing this? It can't be a hobby. I don't care if you're passionate about it, you want to love what you do, but it can't be a hobby. So buy used. I absolutely support and encourage that. Pickup versus delivery. What's your business going to look like, right? If you're going to do pickup only, you're probably not going to want people coming to your house. So you're going to have that off-site location that's safe and easy for customers to find, zoned properly with parking and so forth. Delivery, if you're delivering, are you charging enough money? How do you figure that out? And do you have the right equipment to do the deliveries? Velocity pricing, we love this, right? The Super Bowl's coming up. When is it? This Sunday, right? What do you think it costs to get an airline ticket? Where's the Super Bowl? Does anybody know? I don't, I'm a little ignorant there, sorry.
LA,
I think.
Right. So I don't, regardless of where you are, you're not in LA and you're flying to the Super Bowl. Try to buy a ticket. As soon as we knew who was winning and where that Super Bowl was going to be, if you had priced an airline ticket prior to the Rams winning, guess what? It would have been how much money? A lot less than it is now. Hotels, same thing. Just crazy. So can you do velocity pricing? There's only one 4th of July. There's only one Labor Day. There's only one Memorial Day. Get your orders in early and price accordingly. You can always go down. You can always run a sale. But think of those holidays and velocity pricing. Graduation time, right? Graduation time for the high schools, graduation time for the colleges, for those of you that are renting tents, tables, and chairs. And we can get off on another tangent, but I know I'm running out of time. That's why they keep moving the screen on me. So know your top rental products. Yeah, look at the competitors' social media, online forums, industries, Facebook groups, put a whiteboard on, all great ideas. Kim or Mark, you want to talk about this?
Well, going back to before, just quickly on pricing, okay? Last night on one of our talks, somebody had brought up discounts, okay? Add value, okay? You know, don't try to work on a discount all the time. People will always want it. If they know they can beat you up, they're going to try to beat you lower. If you have a good quality product and you have a good model and your product is clean, hold your price and try to add value somewhere else. That might be giving them a discount on an add-on, a cotton candy machine or a snow cone machine at a little bit of discount, or some free cups. If it's a tent, maybe you'll discount a sidewall, but hold your pricing, okay? Don't get into the race to the bottom. I've seen the race to the bottom in so many marketplaces where all of a sudden you've got people out there doing a tent, table, and chairs delivered for $99. Okay, when it's graduation weekend, all your competition is going to be out. Okay, you know, off season is one thing, but in your season, don't get worried. The stuff is eventually going to rent out. Okay, there's only so many months of warm weather. There's only a certain amount of time when the kids are out of school, and there's only so many weekends. So take that time to hold your price, do pricing breaks maybe on midweek, off season, or add value to the rental so that it's perceived that they're saving money and getting a good deal, but it's not impacting your bottom line.
And I like this concept too of knowing your top rental products. The 80-20 rule usually applies in most of our businesses, where 20% of your inventory is probably close to bringing in to 80% of your income. So if you can track that, run your numbers and know what are your top rental products, your top 20%, and then structure your training program so your employees are solid on that 20% that's bringing most of it in. So whether you, like Brett said, do it on a whiteboard or we keep like digital dashboards on it, I love that concept to structure your training around the top 20%.
Mm-hmm. And you know, if you're wondering whether or not a product is going to do well, okay, you know, give us a call. Hey, how many 7 Elements do you have in stock? You got a lot of them? All right, great. Send me some photos. I want to put that on my site and see what type of bites I get on it. Okay. We did that. We've done that with so many different things over the years where we've kind of put the cart in front of the horse and tried to promote that product, okay, before we had it, because we wanted to see what type of interest it was going to have. And 99% of the time, it would work out very well.